Everyone thinks you need a PhD to teach at a college or university. If you Google how to become a professor, you'll get that answer that you need a PhD. If you ask a career counselor, can I become a professor without a PhD? They'll likely tell you no. But here's the thing, I'm not a career counselor, and instead, I'm going to explain exactly in detail how becoming a professor works if you don't have a PhD. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Horace. I've been a professor since 2016 and I don't have a PhD. I've also spent a lot of that time on hiring committees, so I'm part of the team that decides who the university hires. And so I get to see the hiring rubrics, I get to see who gets rejected, who gets an interview, who gets an offer. And I also run Professor Town, where we help experienced industry professionals and practitioners become professors. So I've seen hundreds and hundreds of faculty members get hired. And so I'm telling you right now, many departments are desperate for real world experience and you don't even need a PhD. So in today's video, by the end of this video, you're gonna understand exactly the 4 non-PhD faculty tiers and what are those ranks, what are the job titles that you're gonna be looking for. Second, I'll tell you exactly the practitioner field, so the specific departments that are looking for somebody aside from pure academics. They're looking for people with experience, or essentially those non-PhD professors. And then finally, I'm going to actually show you the hidden door, the specific way that adjuncts or part-time faculty or sessional faculty, as they're also called, how they get hired. And that has nothing to do with the actual job portal itself. So stay tuned until the end until we go over that. So let's get right into the terminology. If you look for professor positions and you see something that says tenure track professor, regardless of what field it is, you're actually going to get rejected for that role. You're going to get laughed out of that room. And so the 4 main titles that you're looking for are clinical or practice track professors. Tenure is something that's basically reserved for PhDs and very experienced researchers. And so the 4 roles that you're actually looking for are adjunct professors. So adjunct is basically the academic term referring to a part-time or a sessional or a contract professor. Basically somebody that's given the opportunity to lecture a class for a given term or given semester, right? So that's one of those, adjunct. The second tier that you're looking for are clinical or lecturers. And these are teaching focused roles where you're teaching the skills and not necessarily writing theory. You're not doing a lot of PhD level research. And so clinical or lecturer roles are also a great one. Third is the professor of practice, right? And so the professor of practice is essentially basically the unicorn role. These are full-time salaried roles specifically designed for people with a decade plus of executive level experience or tons of experience in the field. And so these are usually former VPs, directors, managers, people with lots of experience, and they're bringing that to the classroom. And then finally, there's the executive in residence role. So this is a lot more to do with business schools, but lots of institutions have executive in residence roles where somebody who has a lot of industry experience is essentially helping the college or the university understand this is how things work in the professional world, and these are the kinds of skills we want to see students coming out with, and that's referred to as an executive in residence. So those are the 4 kind of tiers of faculty roles that you're looking for if you don't have a PhD. Adjunct, aka sessional, aka contract faculty. 2, you're looking for clinical or lecturer roles. 3, you're looking for professor of practice roles. And then 4, you're looking for executive in residence roles. And so those are the 4 tiers of faculty positions that you can likely get without a PhD. Now, let's talk a little bit about who wants you. What are the actual market demands? What kinds of institutions, what kinds of disciplines actually want faculty members with professional experience versus a PhD or a lot of research background? And so not every department is created equal. And so the main departments and disciplines that are looking for experienced practitioners to come in and teach courses are business, so accounting, finance, operations, supply chain, human resources, organizational behavior. These are occupations where there's actually a huge need for faculty members. There's also actually some institutional requirements. So business schools, AACSB accredited schools actually have a quota for institutional practitioners. So they actually have to hire practitioners with experience in order to maintain their AACSB accreditation, right? So there's a huge industry demand for those business professionals. Second is nursing. Nursing is a huge field, tons of opportunity for practitioners to come in. In fact, there's such a huge shortage of nursing faculty members with that kind of experience that most nursing schools, in fact, there was such a serious shortage that a few years ago, almost 100,000 students had to be turned away from schools because there just simply wasn't enough faculty to handle that additional course load. So nursing is another area, huge opportunity, where even if you don't have a PhD or advanced academic credentials, they're looking for a lot of professional work experience, bedside experience to come in and teach their students. Engineering is also another great opportunity. Engineering schools often, not all engineering disciplines, but things like software engineering, computer science, architecture are other areas where they're looking for practical experience or a portfolio over something like a PhD, right? Because they want students to graduate from their programs with the skills to land a job and to be successful on the job. Another great field is journalism. Journalism is if you look up most journalism professors, they won't have a PhD. Instead, they'll just have tons of practical journalism related experience that they're bringing to the classroom. And then finally are things like visual arts, right? So the visual arts are the fine arts, whether it's painting, drawing, illustrating, film. This is another field another discipline where institutions are looking for practitioners rather than researchers, because again, they want students to get that live, real experience. So those are the disciplines where if you don't have a PhD, you are very well suited still to become a faculty member. So business, nursing, several engineering disciplines, journalism, or the arts. And if you're thinking about this for yourself and you're wondering hey, based on my experience, based on my field, could I get in? You can click the link in the description below and we can schedule a free session where I'll go through your experience and we can highlight some of the great opportunities for you. And so finally, what are the different disciplines that are going to be hiring, right? So is it your field? You found out what are the actual roles and titles that you'll be looking for. Let me get this out of the way. You found out what are the actual roles and titles that you're looking for. And now you're probably wondering, hey, I want this. I want the professor title. I want to teach in front of a classroom. How exactly do I do it? Well, the thing is that for a lot of first-time faculty, there's actually a bit of a hidden door. Most first-time faculty positions are not actually hired through the HR portal. So if you're tempted you see one of these positions and you decide, hey, I'm going to go ahead and apply, you should know that a lot of first-time faculty start off as adjunct or contract or sessional or part-time faculty, and they're hired because of an emergency, not because of some sort of committee decided long in advance that there's a teaching need. A lot of the time what happens is an individual faculty member realizes that they have a need. So maybe the professor that was teaching a course got sick or had to leave or quit. Maybe suddenly there's too many students for a single class, and so 2 weeks before the semester starts, somebody gets hired. And that's actually how my path started. I was actually hired 4 days before the semester actually started. And so the department chair, when encountered with a situation like this, doesn't want to embark on a 3-month search. Instead, they just pick up their phone and they scroll through and they ask themselves, who do I know that could teach this class? And so the trick here is you want to be in a position that they know your name, they know your expertise, and they know that you're ready and excited to teach when that emergency or that need happens. And if the timing is right, you get the job. And you'd be amazed, every semester, every department has some sort of need, right? This type of thing happens all the time where we just need somebody to step in and take over a course. And so that's really the hidden door. So your goal, if you want to become a faculty member and you're one of these experienced industry professionals, you want to make sure that your name is in their inbox before their interview, before the hiring need kind of becomes more prominent. And oftentimes you don't even interview, you can just get the contract. So your goal is not to apply to jobs. Instead, your goal is to be the name the department chair thinks of when this sort of emergency strikes. So stop looking for permission. Instead, the university needs operators, right? There's actually a desperate need for this kind of experience because students want it, right? Students want to graduate and have the skills ready to enter the workforce. They want skills that'll get them hired. So if you're ready to make this jump for yourself and you're not sure if your CV makes the cut, feel free to book a session in the description below, and I'd be happy to help you with that.